Hello, everybody. It's David Perlmutter, founder of Quantum Listing, and welcome to our webinar, Quantum Listing for Beginners. We are going to give you an overview of Quantum Listing, and we can have a look at today's agenda. Hopefully, the thunder and lightning outside will not do anything to interfere with our webinar today, but it's out of our hands. So here's our agenda. We're going to talk about what visitors to the site do. We'll talk about the types of membership, which are basic, individual, and enterprise. And within the enterprise category, you can have agents and managers as well. Included with your membership are things, and these are the premium memberships, the enterprise and individual. You can share to social media. You can post in your state haves and wants group. You can send emails to your proprietary list. We also give you a complimentary email blast if you're a premium member of one of your listings. Quantum Listing, then we'll talk about the Quantum Listing Marketing Center, which are ways that you can increase your listings exposure, as well as your own company or personal brand. And those items are listing promotions, where your listings show at the top of searches, brand promotion, where your own marketing message, whether it's yours or your company's, shows at the top of searches in your market. Google display ads, which allows you to very easily send your listings out to the Google display network to get thousands and thousands of views out there where your potential customers are organically browsing. And then we'll also talk about your profile and listing and maintenance tips, including the importance of a listing title and description, adding content to your profile, making sure your listing images are showing, that they're good quality. And then I think we're going to do most of this as a live demo rather than looking at slides. And we'll resort to the slides if the internet gets bulky because of the storm we're having. And then we'll finish up with talking about our pricing and how you can get in touch with us. So let's get started. So Quantum Listing is a commercial real estate listing service. We are, a very value-oriented company, but we also give you a complete range of services that you can do and use to market your listings. So it really puts you in control of your budget. So it's $89.99 a year for an agent to post an unlimited number of listings, and with once you've done that, and you can then start availing yourselves with some of the other features that we have. But let's talk before we get into that about what just visitors to our site can do, because we are a marketplace, and you can't just have a supply side on a marketplace. You need the demand side also. So, and because I'm a broker, I've been a broker for 34 years, and a lot of what we've done with Quantum Listing was to sort of meet what I wanted to see in a listing service. So making all of your listings available to anybody who lands on our site was really important to me, because I know as a broker that is what is going to be most beneficial to me. Having a paywall or requiring somebody to register before they can see my listing is not going to get as many eyeballs on my listing as possible. So let's head over to Quantum Listing now, and as we talk about these things, we will show them to you. Okay, here we go. Okay, so right now, just I'm going to log out for a second. So this is, if somebody's coming to Googling QuantumListing.com, they'll typically come to this landing page, and they can start their search right here. Again, don't have to be logged in, don't have to be registered. There are advantages to being a member, and we'll cover those. But anybody can search. And in fact, like more than half of our traffic to the website is coming from Google and other internet searches, and they're either landing directly on your listing or on your profile. And that's great for you, and it's great for them because they're able to get the information they want, and you're able to get potential customers that way. So I'm going to log in now to my QuantumListing account. And here we are. So this, when you log into your QuantumListing account, you go to your profile page. And but before I get distracted with that, let's go back and talk about what visitors can do. So if somebody comes to QuantumListing and they want to look at your listing, they just need to click on the listing card and they'll go to the listing detail page. And what you'll see is there's a contact the agent button, so they can click that and they'll get this little pop-up form. The same form will show up after 15 seconds of looking at your listing. So another way to encourage them to give information to you so that there's that pop-up form that I described. But people can also click here and open up an email. And in this case, it has, hold on, let me just put that, there we go. So when somebody clicks on your email address, it will auto-populate with the listing as the subject and also have a link to it as well. So people can send you an email, and that is another way that they can get in touch with you. Hold on, wait, wrong one, hang on. Okay. So that's great. And they also, people who don't put the square feet for their listing, the square feet available, it'll show up as inquire, and then they click on that, and again, they'll be able to contact you via that. So there's lots of great ways for people to contact you. You can see this. This is a user who's syndicating from BuildOut. His account has expired, but because of our relationship with BuildOut, his listings still are getting updated in a real-time basis. The disadvantage to Jim Jones for not keeping his membership current is that he won't get leads from those pop-ups in real time. He'll have to wait for us to get around to sending them to him. And again,
David, is the system smart enough to know that if I put my package together in build out and then they're syndicating it out and I load it in through Quantum directly, not to double list it?
It will not. If it's the syndication, basically has a mind of its own. So my advice is if you are using BuildOut or one of our other syndication partners, just syndicate to us and don't add the listings manually.
Okay.
And also, if keep your things up to date in BuildOut or RealNext or Sharp Launch, because anything that you manually change on our site, next time you go into one of those platforms that syndicates to us, it'll get overwritten on us. So just make it on the syndication site.
So who are you pulling in from? Sharp Launch, Blueprint,
RealNext, and BuildOut. And then we have other ones that are in the works as well. But those are the 3 active ones now.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, and you can also send your listings to Levitt Digital, also called LDCRE, and they have a network of about 500 or so local news sites. So and that doesn't cost you anything to syndicate out to those guys.
Levitt, L-E-V-I-T?
Levitt. LDCI
Levitt Digital.
is their website, and you can communicate to them directly from Build Out as well, and I think possibly from RealNext, but I'm not 100% sure about RealNext syndicating or Sharp Launch. All right, so visitors, they can contact you about your listings, which of course is very important. They can click on a hyperlink if this isn't the listing for them, or it says search other listings in whatever market it is. So if they click on that, it will then create a search for them. So you can see Bryan, Texas has automatically been added here. They can start a completely new search from the top of the page here. And so they start typing, and then they click on the town or county or state right from the drop-down menu. And what you can see right here on the left is somebody who's got a brand promotion ad, and that's just something we would cover later, but since it popped up here, we'll do it now. So if a visitor were to click on that ad, it would take you to all of that user's. So, so that's another thing, so you can do a search. And then let's go back a second. And so we clicked on Chicago, and we're going to, all right. So now let's do this again though, but this time we're going to do a filtered search. So we'll go stick with Chicago while we're here. I did something wrong. Okay. All right, so we're back in Chicago, and you can see up here there are 338 listings in the market that are on our site, active listings. So we want to narrow it down. So we can say, let's look for office for sale in Chicago. So we selected the asset class and the transaction type, and then I'm going to hit apply filters, and it will then narrow it down to just the offices for sale. So we have a much more manageable cohort of 14 listings to review there and to see if there are any fixes, any fits rather. Another good thing to know when you're looking at listings as a visitor is right here, you can see when the listing was last updated. So this particular listing was updated in June of 2019. So if I'm doing a survey for a customer, before I add this to the survey, I'm going to make sure that I verify with the agent that it is still available. And, that can, save you. And if I see that it was, updated in April 2021, I'm, pretty sure that it's going to be good information. I can save a little time and, not update that one. And not, verify unless I want more details than are available in a particular listing. You can also go ahead.
Is there any? Is it, since you and there's some people joined? Is there any plan to either make people update their listings or drop a listing when it's 6 months, 12 months, 18 months beyond its update time frame? Just we all complain about old stale listings in systems.
That's a great question, and right now I would say we don't have a particular plan to do that, although we always say that we ought to do something like that. One of the things, basically what we do send out a monthly reminder to everybody asking them to update the listings that haven't been updated in the last 30 days. People are generally pretty good about it, and you'll generally find that there are less stale listings on our site than some of the others, but I would be doing a disservice if I said every single listing is 100% up to date. So.
Okay, well, my 3 cents is put some kind of a timeline on there that says they drop off after a year.
Yeah,
I'd like 6 months, but anyway, enough said.
yeah, no, that's a great point, and I can't say that I don't disagree with you. Wait, no, I double negatives always confuse me. I agree with you, Bruce. There you go. That's a lot simpler. So, all right.
One
So
thing, Bruce, that I would add is when leads come in, I check every single lead that comes in and check to see if the listing's up to date. And whenever I do come across a listing that's not up to date, I always call them and let them know and ask them to take it down. So we do have that manual process, but obviously a more automated one would change things too.
and
Okay, thanks.
yeah, I mean, as veterans, we know that brokers love having signs up, and listing sites are basically digital signs, and they're always much faster to add listings than to take them down because whether you want to call it a bait and switch or just an opportunity to talk to a customer and sell them what they actually have, it's up to you, depending on how kindly you're feeling towards your fellow brokers on that day. But it is a chronic problem on websites, and even CoStar with their thousands of researchers, they are chock full of bad data because of the way that brokers like to have as much digital signage out there.
I'm an advocate of making this like the MLS rules that many people have to live by, that says you've got, X requirement to bring current information into the system, and then when it's done, get it out.
Yeah.
Or there's a finable offense or some other component, just because clean data is what we all strive for, and it's exasperating when it's not. Okay, enough said. We don't have to beat this up. You caught my drift.
We could have
Okay.
a webinar just about the pros and cons, but yes, I agree. So other things that you can do as a visitor is you can sign up for a webinar like this one. You can read our blog. You can schedule a one-on-one demo with us so that you can get particular answers to particular questions you have. And of course, we take phone calls and emails all the time from our members. You can also sign up, people who are visitors can sign up for weekly updates on listings that meet their criteria. And then, of course, they can request help from a professional in their market. And beyond, those are the main things that you can do as a visitor. But we encourage people who have like a genuine interest, who aren't necessarily listing brokers, to become basic members, which is free, because then you can start using some of the other features that we have. So for instance, you can save listings. So we'll go through, since we're on this particular listing, we'll show you some of the different things that you can do as a basic member. So you can add listings to a saved listings list, which you can find on your profile page. We'll show you that in a moment. You can copy an iframe of a listing and share that on your blog or your website. You can make private notes on listings and find them on your profile page later. You can create listing reports if you're a basic member, and you can also create these listing PDF. So the listing PDFs that QuantumListing creates have all the photos that you've added and any of the data that you've added in your contact information. You can share it via email. You can share it to social media. You can also do an iframe and put it on your website as well. So there's lots of reasons to be a member basic member, which is absolutely free. If you're not adding listings, but you're going to be visiting the site regularly and taking advantage of all the information that our members have added to it. So the next level of membership, so that's basic membership. Then beyond that, we have individual memberships and enterprise memberships. Individual memberships are what you should do if you want to add listings and you're either a solo practitioner or nobody else in your office is currently using QuantumListing. And with your individual membership, it's $89.99 a year to add unlimited listings. And then you can also, once you're a premium membership, you can have a premium membership. You can share your listings to your state haves and wants group. You can do email blasts. When you become a premium member, we will give you one complimentary email blast that we'll send out on your behalf. But you can also send out emails to your own proprietary list. So you would you can do it, it's one or two people just by typing in the email addresses up here. But if you had, 100 people that you wanted to send it to, then you can upload a spreadsheet that just has the email addresses in it. Doesn't need to have any, first name, last name, anything else, just the email addresses. You add a subject line, you add a short message, and it'll send out an email that looks like this, except instead of saying send, you just have this where it says view listing will light up green instead. So, it's a nice, convenient feature, and if you don't have constant contact or MailChimp, it's a very effective way to, get people to see your listing and not have to design an email template for that. So I encourage you to do that. If you want to send out more than one email blast, or want us to send out more than one email blast, we do have email blast packages that we'll talk about a little bit later. So, these are the different things that you can do from your listing detail page. You can add an additional link. You can add a video as well. There's also it'll show you where it is on the map, and it's a Google Map plugin, so everything you can do with Google Maps, you can pretty much do right here. We do have a few other buttons that you'll see here. One is demographic data. This is the United States Census Bureau data. It's free to use for us and for you, and it's it's the real deal. This next button here, land checks, is virtual due diligence. So if you click on that, it will show you where pipelines are, where brownfields are in relation to your site. It'll show you where power lines are. It will, if there are pending items on that is on a zoning board near your site, it'll you'll be able to access that info as well. So is currently free. I think Landchecks at some point may decide to start charging for that. And then the third button here is on for sale listings only. And if people click on that, they can add their deal parameters in and see if any of the lenders that StackSource works with is interested in financing it. So, three good things to know about. So anytime you want to go to your profile page on QuantumListing, you're going to click right here on the head and shoulders, the top right corner, and that brings you to your profile page. You'll see that on the top of every page. And I think what would be helpful now is if we just go through all the different elements of your profile page. So you can add a logo and picture as well. Oh, I didn't, before I got a little ahead of myself, enterprise membership. So my brokerage is an enterprise member, and that means that I can add managers and agents. So the managers are people who won't be adding listings for themselves, but who help with the workflow. They can add other agents, they can update listings and things like that. Agents are, just like any other people in terms of, being able to have unlimited number of listings, and it's $89.99 per year for agents. If your office has 12 people or more, we cap your annual membership at $999.99 a year. You can see here that you can add multiple agents to a listing. There's a little icon that when you're adding your listing, you can check a box that says that you'll co-broke it. Just because somebody doesn't check that box doesn't necessarily mean that they won't co-broke, but if you are adding your listings manually, it's a good idea to check that box so that people understand that you're willing to cooperate with them. This ribbon here is to add listings to your saved listings, and from your profile page, you'll also see these three little dots. And if you click that, here, let me see if I can make it a little bigger. You can edit your listing. You can advertise on the Google Display Network from here. You can export the information to a PDF that has been added by the listing agent. You can add it to a survey report. You can unpublish it, and if you have sold or leased it, or your listing has expired, you can archive it rather than delete it. And we're big fans of archiving listings for a few reasons. One, it gives you a nice record of the deals that you have done. Two, if you have written private notes about that listing, you'll still be able to access them, but you can if you delete it. And I use that sometimes to put little reminders about when I need to, get the next installment of the commission or things like that. And also when you're looking at other people's listings, as to your point, Bruce, that that a listing is no longer on the market, you can write a little private note to yourself saying, hey, this isn't available anymore. So you don't have to, 6 months later, go through the same exercise there. So that is the little things at the top of a listing card. And here's an example of a private note that I took on this listing. It's a restaurant that I'm trying to sell, and so I have little reminders about the occupancy limits and the taxes and utilities that I added there. When you're on any listing, you can click the sharing icon and then advertise that listing on Google. Obviously, you're only going to do that for your own listing. You can share a listing to Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, or you can also email it. And, that's pretty much what we looked at before. Like with any individual listing, you can also share your profile, and you can email it, you can share it to LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, or if you wanted to add your profile to your website, you can click this, which is called an iframe, and you copy this code and you paste it into your website. Oh, I clicked by accident. Hang on. So that's a good thing. And unlike some services which charge you extra to share your listings to your website, this is included in your $89.99 a year membership. So looking on the left-hand side here, you can edit your profile and add the pictures and logos that you want. You can also, by editing it, add a bio, and you can also add your social media links here. So, you shouldn't, I wouldn't say add your personal Facebook, but if you have a business Facebook page or your LinkedIn profile, or you're doing videos of the interior of your spaces and adding them to YouTube, by all means, add your YouTube channel to it. And great things, you can add your website, email address, Skype, phone numbers. I think you can also add a secondary phone number, and your brokerage licenses. If you want to send people your profile link, you just click the copy the profile link, and then you can email that to them, or text it to them, or even add the profile link to your email signature, so that people can, every time you send out an email, can come to your Quantum Listing profile. If you like Quantum Listing, we hope you'll use this one, or you can invite a friend. And then let's keep going down this left side. This is what we call the left-hand sidebar menu. And if you are interested in, so with listings, you can add listings. You can see your archive. You can see the saved listings of, the listings that you've clicked a little ribbon on as you're going through the site. And then you can also access the advertising on the Google Display Network for listings there. Not only can you post the listings that you have, you can also create wants listings. And with the wants listings, if it's basically you're crowdsourcing your your searches for your customers, and you don't have to add an image. We add this little wanted thing, and all these wanteds are, if somebody's doing a search, they'll show up in search. You can search do unwanteds also as the transaction type, and just get a list. This way you can, if you're more of a, if you want to see what's available and see if anything that you have matches up, it's always good to check the wanteds. So, another nice feature to have. Enterprise, you only have this if you're an enterprise member, and you can add your agents and managers here. You can see the agents I have at my brokerage business, except this guy, Test Guy, hasn't really done much recently. I may have to get rid of him. And then networks are the next item. And when you join Quantum Listing, we'll add you to a network based on your geography. And when you go to one of your networks, you get to see all the listings in the network. You can also go and see the network news, and let's go back. Oh, there we go. So once so you can see the network news, and that basically will show you the changes that have been made in your network recently. So it could be whether listings were added, deleted, new members have been added to the network, new agents at in an enterprise, all sorts of stuff like that. So it's a good way to stay abreast of things that are happening in your market. And groups are another feature, similar to networks in some ways, but a little more self-service. You can join, if you want to, if we assign you to one network, by the way, and you want to, and you're in Chicago and you're working in Illinois and also in Missouri, you can ask to join the Missouri network, and that works great. we'll as soon as we see it, we'll add you. Networks are so the groups though are similar, but you can, when you're a member of a group, you can use a group chat function. So you can basically add a listing, say, hey, I have a new listing in such and such a town, and you can add a link to it, a hyperlink to it, so people can see it. At the end of the day, what will happen is people will get a email saying, hey, you have a message waiting for you. And if they're on the website, this bell up here, the notification bell, will be lit up green as well. And the notification, it's not just for messages, but it's also other site reminders that show up there. And you can also access any chat messages here on the chat menu up there. So, and the other thing that is kind of neat about the groups is you can start your own group. So if you have a group of colleagues that you work with and you want to form your own group and you want to chat with each other and have a place dedicated for commercial real estate conversation online, it's a great resource for that. Then you can go through the groups and see are there people that you want to follow so that you have quick and easy access to their listings. You can see all the group listings here as well. The social function is, as I just said, you can follow other people, they can follow you. If you are looking for something in your market and you say, oh, Amanda, I think she's got a listing in Ardsley. Let me go check out what she's got on the market now. And you click on her profile, on her name, brings you to her profile, and you can have a look at her listings. So that is a helpful thing as well, and hopefully saves you some time as you're when you use the site a lot. So, and the stream will show you the people that you're following. All their listings are in the stream, and the newest changes are at the top. You can search by listing title, you can search by location, asset type, trade type, and then you can also sort by the size or the price of the space as well. The info section is an important section. Also, this is where you're going to see your listing analytics. So, and again, you have to be a premium member to see that. If your membership has expired, you won't have access to the analytics until you renew. But you can see the number of listing views you've gotten in the aggregate for all time, or in the last week, or over a month. And then if you just want to look at one particular listing, then you just see the metrics on that. You start typing in the name, and then it'll bring that information up as well. And, this is great if you're, and you can download this information as well. If you are have a reporting requirement for your principals, this is great information to have. You can see here promoted listings. These are listings that you pay to show up at the top of searches in your market. So you can have you can promote a listing for a week. That's $2.50, or you can do it for a month. That's $7.50. And you get to see the views and clicks. So this way you'll figure out whether it's working for you. Promoted banners are when you want to have your company or personal brand show up at the top of searches. For residential agents are very familiar with this on, I think it's called Zillow Premier, on Zillow. So if somebody's doing a search in Chicago and you're you have a brand promotion ad, your ad's going to show up at the top of searches in Chicago. If there are multiple agents that have promotion ads in a particular market, it'll rotate on a equitable basis. So each time somebody clicks, the next person in line will get their listing, their brand promotion ad showed. So online advertisement, you heard me mention this is the Google Display Network ads. These are not Google search ads, which you type into the search bar in Google. These are the little picture-based ads that show up on other websites that you visit. It could be a news site, a sports site, a cooking site, any kind of website. And for $25, you can get anywhere between 15 and 25,000 views of your listing on these other websites. And those, 15, it's basically, you'll get maybe 1 to 2 clicks per 1,000 views on these websites. But, there are people, first of all, they must work because the people who do them usually do them again. Becca Carlson, a broker in Chicago, has done them. She got a showing from a residential broker who probably never would have seen the listing otherwise through doing one of these ads. And then you get to control when you want to do them and how much you want to spend on them. It's either $25, $50, or $100, and the only difference between the three options is the length of time that your ad is going to run. You can have it run only in the market where the listing is. You can have it run in that market plus one other market, or you can pick 2 completely different markets as well. We had one guy who was doing them for a building up in Massachusetts, and it was a building for sale, and it was the income demographic wasn't that high in that town, so he chose to run the ad in 2 adjoining wealthier towns because he thought that's where it was more likely that he was going to find a buyer. So that worked out well for him that he could do that. Account views, you can see the number of people that go see your profile over a week, a month, or all time. If you're an enterprise, you can see the number of agent views as well, and you can do it by individual agent. So that is helpful too. And profile shares, this is the number of times that people are sharing your profile to social media or via email. Listing shares, similar type of thing, but for listings rather than your profile. We have 2 different PDF analytics here. There's PDF exports, which are when somebody takes one of your clicks a button to download a PDF that QuantumListing creates based on the information you've uploaded to the system. And PDF downloads are if you've uploaded a PDF, then people can download those as well. And then, of course, everybody's favorite part is leads. So you can also get the metrics on the leads that you've gotten. You're also going to find your leads here in the info section right here. So you click on that, and you'll see where the leads came from and and the contact information for the person who left their information. Comparable data is not something that is open to the public yet because we want to make sure we have enough data that people find it helpful rather than frustrating. But when you do go to delete or archive your listing, you'll get a little prompt asking if you want to add it to the comparable database, and hopefully you'll add that so that it becomes a valuable resource for the industry, and it's something that would be included with your membership, not that you'd have to pay extra for. Then syndication channels are we have partnerships with Levitt Digital or ldcre.com and the CRE Collaborative, and this one is live already, where you can syndicate your listings to their network of 500 plus local news websites. And CRE Collaborative is something that is in process now. They've got a really neat technology where they can sort of combine all your different real estate tech in one dashboard, so that all your data is pulling together in the same direction. Good things, and it's free to connect to Levitt Digital, and free to connect. Will be free to connect to CRE Collaborative. CRE Collaborative does have additional things that they can upsell you on, but the basic connection and syndication is free. I think that's pretty much. If payments and marketing is another important part. So if we have, in addition to your membership, other things that you can spend your hard-earned money, but we try to be gentle on that. Lead capture is if somebody is entering, is asking for help from a professional in a particular market, and you're signed up for that market, you'll get those leads. You won't get the leads for somebody else's listing that comes on that pop-up, but if somebody's doing like a generic "I need help," then you can sign up for that, and it's $10 for a month, $25 for 3 months, or $79.99 for a year. Online advertisement are the Google Display Network ads, and again, it's $25, $50, or $100. The only difference being the amount of time it runs. Again, they're super fun and effective, and it's at the end of the day, you get to go and look at your analytics and see, oh my God, 10,000 people saw my listing today. It's kind of a good feeling, and hopefully, you'll get a lead from that as well, because that is when it really feels good. And if listing promotion is when you're having your listing show up at the top of listings in your market. Sorry, it's a little slow with GoToMeeting. It kind of slows things down a little bit. So 1 week is $2.50 per listing. A month is $7.50 per listing. We don't have any longer options because we hope by the end of that month you'll have sold or leased your listing. Email blasts. You do get one complimentary email blast of your listing when you have signed up for a premium membership. You can also get one-off emails that are $25. You can.
How expansive is the e-blast? It looks like it's just you and me now.
Yeah. Every market is different. We can, we'll send it to your whole state. If you wanted to go to an adjoining state as well, we can do that as well. But it varies from market to market.
And is this just a master list of brokers? It's not broken down by builders, developers, or multifamily or retail?
That is correct. It is just everybody who is registered in our either registered members or on our Salesforce lists for any particular market. It is not currently segmented by what they do in the industry.
How do you get around the do not e-blast rules?
We have unsubscribe things in everything, so we are CAN spam compliant. So if somebody doesn't want to hear from us, they just click unsubscribe, or the people who don't scroll all the way down sometimes will email us and say, please take me off your list. And we want to be on the right side of the law. So those are email blast. Brand promotion is when your personal marketing message or your company marketing message shows up at the top of searches in your market, and those are $50 for a month, $125 for 3 months, or $400 for a year. And the last thing that we have at this point to sell you is a bundled marketing package, which would include an email blast, listing promotion, and some Google ads. So you can just do everything in a single order rather than having to just do each thing individually. So those are things. So any other questions, Bruce?
Per se, no. Can you check and see if I am a $89 member? If I paid that?
So, and that gives me an opportunity to say that, show that you can search by not only by location, but by member. And let's see. You don't currently have any listings on the site, which you knew. Here, I'm going to pause the recording. Hang on a second. So, that is, I think, our formal presentation for today. I do want to share for the people who are watching the replay. Hold on, let me just buzz down to the end. Okay, so pricing we just talked about. We're one of the things we do pride ourselves in is being very responsive. We have lots of ways that you can get in touch with us. But before you do that, if it's just a question about how something works on the site, your first best bet is to look at the How It Works section. Then you can also schedule a demo. There's a button at the top of every page on the site that will let you pick a time and date on the calendar that works for you. You can also use the intercom button at the bottom right of most of the web pages on our site to start a conversation. If we're online, then we'll answer right away. Otherwise, we'll get back to you in a couple of hours. You can email us at support@QuantumListing, or you can contact Julia at julia@quantumlisting.com or me at david@quantumlisting.com. You can call us. There's our toll-free number. And of course, we invite you to come back for more webinars and check out our weekly blog posts as well. And I guess thank you for spending this hour with us. We do appreciate it. I know that your time is what you're really selling, so that you're giving it an hour of it to us is wonderful. And when you do add your listings, we'll to thank you for doing that. We'll promote some of your listings for a month. Just
all right. I will join for the starter. And how long does it typically take to upload listings?
So you're doing it manually. The first one will take you maybe 10 minutes, but after that it's very, very quick and easy. I'll show you what it looks like to add a listing.
Okay. And then if I have some development sites. So let's say that's a property that's on the market for $1.5 million. It's got a mixed use building on it that probably is worth $1.2 million, but the land is worth more. Can you put it in two ways, or just one listing, one address, one way?
You can just at this point put in one address one way. However, because you can add unlimited listings, if you wanted to have, and honestly, for my listings, what I do is I sort of taken a page from residential brokers that I don't just put a listing up for the building, I put a listing up for each space in the building. So if you wanted to have one listing that was for the existing building and one that was for the land, you can do that. And if you don't want to cause any confusion on the price, you can leave the price as 0 and it shows up as inquire. So, that's what I would recommend doing for that. So here is the form for adding listings. So you can drag and drop pictures or search your computer for them. Listing titles, anything with a little red asterisk is something that you actually have to add. See if I make this a little bigger. So you have to add a listing title, a transaction type, asset type, and we have a fairly extensive list. If you think there's something that we should have that we don't, let us know when we can add that. You can also add a secondary asset type. And rent, you can, if it's a listing that is for sale instead of for lease, rent switches to price. If it's a land listing, then instead of square feet available, it's acres available. For square feet or acres available, if you leave it as 0, it shows up as inquire. Price, same thing. Put the date that it's available as well. You can add other parameters like another URL, whether that's to your website or something similar. If you want to put something about parking, the number of offices, bathrooms, floors, whether the building has EV charging, the number, the size of the individual spaces in it, all that you can add. Most of that is not, all these additional parameters aren't mandatory. And then of course you have to add the address, and when you start adding the address, you need to select it from the drop-down menu so that it geocodes onto Google Maps, and this way people can search it. The last thing you need to do before adding your listing is make sure this publish box is checked, and you also have to make sure that you've checked the I have the rights to all images and information I am adding to QuantumListing. If you don't have both of those boxes checked, your listing will not show up. This is to protect you and us from our litigious competition. And if you want to have the little co-broke icon show up, check that. And if you want, while you're at the time you're adding your listing, to promote it for a week or a month, check that box as well. So really,
got it.
Pretty simple, straightforward. And then, of course,
Okay.
Add a listing description. One of the things, just as sort of a hot tip, when people search for listings online, particularly people who are not real estate professionals, the important thing when you're titling your listing is to put yourself in the mindset of somebody searching for something who doesn't entirely know what they're searching. So, a lot of always see, prime retail corner, and people don't search by prime retail corner. They search for, store for rent in Chicago. And when you do Google searches, listings that have very simple, basic titles like that are the ones that show up on the first page of Google searches. So, forget all the hype jargon that, landlords love. They're not really going to do anything for you. We had a guy in Greenwich, Connecticut, who had a landlord, and he's saying, when somebody types in, Greenwich Avenue retail for lease, your listing from QuantumListing shows up. But if they just do Greenwich retail for lease, it wasn't showing up. So we said, well, why don't you switch it to Greenwich retail for lease? And within a week, he showed up on the first page of Google, and we've seen it time and time again. Where doing things like that, even if it might be counterintuitive and somewhat boring, because people do searches by talking into their phone. Anytime you're labeling, something or titling something, think about how somebody is going to be asking their phone to find it for them, and you'll end up more successful. And if you get sort of stuck on what to do a Google search for something similar in that market and see what shows up on the first page, and use
I get it.
use that. So
KISS. Keep it stupidly simple.
yeah, exactly. So thank you, Bruce, for participating today and for watching. And Julia, thank you for helping set this up. And for anybody watching in the future, we'd love to talk with you, schedule a demo, click the button right here at the top.
Great. Appreciate. Thank you much. As I said, I will join and get this going in the next couple of days.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thanks, David. Thanks, Julia. Bye-bye.